Hi guys, welcome to LBRY's Review, and this is going to be my review for Jedi Fallen Order. Yep, got the cap on again, messy beard. It's all part of the lockdown, I'm afraid. I'm not bothering to do my hair, and it's probably going to stay the same for the next few videos at least until we're out of lockdown. But anyway, finally got around to finishing Fallen Order, so let's crack on with it. Before we begin, don't forget to like and comment down below, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified whenever I do videos. I do them every single Wednesday, so make sure you keep a lookout for those. Yeah, spoilers will be coming in this video at some point, but I will put them to the back end of the review to make sure, and I'll let you know when they are coming, so keep a lookout for that. Finally I've got round to finishing Jedi Fallen Order. I know it's taken a long time, most people pretty much done their reviews and got them out of the way, but I just haven't had time to get round to it. Finally, obviously due to lockdown and whatnot, and not being able to really go out of the house, I've been able to finally get it done. And I'll be honest, it took me a while because I just really wanted to kind of sit back and enjoy it. I didn't want to rush through just to do the review. I wanted to do it properly and everything, and just really enjoy it when I could. And it has a lot of stuff going on in there. There's a lot of good things in it. There's a couple of negatives here and there, but you know, there was a lot of you know, worry that because it being part of an EA product that it was going to fall flat like the Battlefront games did, because they, you know, graphics aside, they really weren't up to much. So there was a lot, you know, sitting on the fence and worrying going into this game. And for the most part, I was entertained, and I thoroughly enjoyed the time I spent playing it. One of the big plus points is the game mechanic itself, the movement of your character and all that kind of stuff, the battle style and everything. All of that is really, really good, and it doesn't take you for an idiot. You have to be on the, you know, keep your head on a swivel. You have to think about it. You have to parry at right moments, dodge out of the way at right moments, use your moves at the right moments. It doesn't just treat you like an idiot. It's similar to like Breath of the Wild or something like that. It throws you in and expects you to know what you're doing, really. And I like that because it gives me a bit more of a challenge. And I like the fact that you get a bit more of a challenge. It's not just keep following the points and eventually you'll get through it. And it takes a few goes. There's plenty of times I fell off the cliff trying to do a move and got killed because I just, you know, wasn't paying attention enough. And it's good, it challenges you to do better. I do like the fact that it kind of mixes in. It feels like a bit of an open world, but not entirely, because it's different planets, but when you're on those planets it is quite an open world and they are quite vast. There's not many planets, and it's about 5 or 6 in total, but all of them you have to revisit at least 2 or 3 times. Really big open worlds when you're on these planets, so you know, it is open world to a point. I also like the fact that it feels a little bit like kind of like Dark Souls. It's quite difficult in areas, but then it feels like Uncharted at the same time as well. It's you know, you're running and using your force moves to run along the walls and climb up and stop things or slow them down and whatnot, or push things away, pull things towards you. You really have to think, and you get these moves as you go along. It's not a case of you just have everything and then you just got to use them all. That's not how it works. You slowly build them up, and the way that they put them in, of you getting these moves, is really good. It's not just oh, you've just leveled up and now you've got this move. It actually works into the story, and I love how they did that. I really do, which I will get to in the spoiler half of my review. Story-wise, I loved it. I thought it was a really good story. I would say it ended a little bit kind of abruptly, or kind of definitely feels like the end of a first act and going into another. There is rumours of them carrying on and doing another couple of games, so which I'm fine with. It's just it was quite obvious at the end of this game that there was definitely going to be more coming. There was not a point where I thought, well, that's the end. The setting was perfect. Just after the purge, you're in hiding, and then you kind of have to come out hiding because of certain circumstances. You get this ship with a crew, and they're all pretty awesome. And the storyline that goes on with your kind of new master, and going on with the Night Sister as well. That's like one of your main, pretty much your main bad guy in this, your main villain. I really liked her. She was a really compelling character, really rich story, and I liked finding out about what's going on, having it unfold. Your character, Cal Kestis, he was kind of generic to a point. He kind of your generic kind of good guy, kind of you know, a little bit deer in the headlights at the start of it, but kind of like, you know, rises to the challenge as things go on. But BD1, I love that little droid, amazing new character. I love it. I love a fun droid, and that's another fun droid added to the Star Wars universe. And he was really useful. Like, he, you know, leveled up and got new moves and got new things to do as time went on as well, and I love that. It is like a little team effort between you and BD. I love all that stuff, and you're finding different treasures and bits and bobs as you go along. Speaking of treasures, I love the fact that you can customize a lot. I mean, as far as your attire is concerned, you've pretty much got the same attire, but you can do different colours, and then you've got so many ponchos you can choose from that you're going to collect as you go along. There's also new skins for the ship, skins for BD, and then the best part about it is the customization of the lightsaber. So many colours you can pick from. There's so many little pieces like the hilt and the switch and everything about it, the pommel, absolutely everything. They've even added in little sections of the custom built lightsaber from Savvy's workshop in the Disney's like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and they've added little pieces from that and put it in the game, so there's things that are recognisable, and I love how they do that, because it just there was nothing happy than finding that and then being able to custom build it again. I thought it was a great idea, and it was definitely something that should keep going forward. Another big positive, graphics. I thought they were beautiful. There was a couple of times I think the Wookiees looked a little bit kind of not finished, but that aside, I think the rest of the graphics were absolutely incredible. A lot of it was mocap and that. Really enjoyed the graphics. It was, and the great thing about it is like it felt really rich and vibrant and open, and like I said, with the open world feel in each planet, it made it feel vast, even though, like I say, it's not necessarily a massive open world like something like Skyrim or Breath of the Wild or anything like that. But when you were on the planet, it just gave you this sense of scope, and you just look at it and think, holy shit, this is massive, and I've got to do all this to get over there and whatnot. And I liked it. It made it feel bigger than it necessarily was, and it's really good that it made it feel that way, because it made it feel daunting. So again, it's another challenge to get by. Another challenge as well is you can't save whenever you want. And that was just like a given for most games these days. You can literally just stop and save whenever you want to, and this doesn't give you that option. Again, it gives you a bit more of a challenge. You get two, and obviously you can build up and get more of the health pack things that BD gives you to get your health back when you're low on health, but for the most part you get two. And you only get them respawned when you go to a save point where you can level up and everything. But every time you save, all of your all the villains that you've just taken down, all the bots and everything, they all come back. So again, it's more of a challenge. Yes, you can save, but is it the right time to save? Because if you do, you've got these people you've got to take down again, and you're saving at a certain point because you don't know where you got to go next. So you have to save because you don't know how far you're going to go before you lose. If you fall off too many times or you die too many times, you have to go back to a certain point. It really does challenge you to be careful and be frugal and think about when you're using your health back. Think about when the best time to save is, and it really is good. And again, that makes you think about your combat style, because you have to be careful, and because if you're not, you're going to get your ass kicked, and then you're going to be back to square one. You're going to be more frustrated, and you're going to be throwing your controller all over the place. And yes, there were times where it was frustrating. There was times where I was getting really annoyed because I kept failing at moments, but that was part of the enjoyment of the game. I haven't had that feeling since probably Breath of the Wild, where I kept losing or kept struggling at a moment. I really just had to keep pushing and kept trying until I did it. And part of that is the saving icon, the fact that you can't save everywhere, and that's a really good idea. You have to think. Negatives. There are a few negatives here and there. Like I said, the graphics on the Wookiees look a little bit thin. I suppose that's a little bit of a nitpick. I would say, Cal's a little bit kind of generic as a character. The richest story was definitely your master and the Night Sister in that whole arc. I would say one of the things I didn't like as well is that you can't fast travel at all. Now, people might say that that's probably a good thing, but when you've got a massive world like this and you want to get to the next thing, I would like it if I could actually fast travel to a certain area. I'm not necessarily saying I have to fast travel all the way to the end of the planet to get there, but maybe like a halfway point or something like that. Or maybe once you've done and you get all the way out there, that you can fast travel back to the ship, because that's like going out there when you go to each planet isn't the end of the world when you're going to that next checkpoint. But once you've done and you have to head back to the ship, that's the only really annoying part of this, is that you have to travel all the way back. You have to go through the whole thing again. Obviously, we respawn villains and everything. They're all back because you've saved at some point, and it's just a little bit more of a slog than it necessarily needs to be. To be honest, I would have rather have this fast travel option to get back to the ship once you've done, and add a couple of more planets and spread out the game a little bit more, so that way you get more time, so you're not losing your time. You're actually using that time instead of going back to the ship in other planets further in a story or something like that. But I just think that maybe going forward, that's probably a good idea. The other negative I said, as mentioned earlier, it ends a bit abruptly. The story's good. Like I said, I enjoyed the story. It was, compelling characters and everything, but it was quite obvious at the end of this that there was more to come. It just kind of ended, and I was like, oh, okay, I felt like I could have had more. I could have got a little bit more. I felt like I was about 3/4 of the way through rather than the whole way through this. But, you know, if we're going to get more games, then I suppose it's a means to an end. Right, we're going into spoilers now, talking about the story and all that kind of stuff. So make sure that you've obviously played the game all the way through before you check this bit out. Check the timestamp in the description if you want to find out my star rating, so make sure you don't have anything ruined for you, but it's spoilers from here on out. I loved how we, at the start of it, obviously we're in hiding and everything, and we've got a couple of friends, that main guys that are kind of befriended at the start and everything, and that we're literally just taking down the old Republic. You can see them like dismantling ships and all that kind of stuff. That visual was amazing, just to see like the Empire taking down the old Republic and destroying ships and salvaging them and all that kind of stuff. That was really, really good. And then to have your friend just killed by the Ninth Sister and you're just on the run, and it was a great intro. It really was a really solid open to this game. As I said, the Ninth Sister, she the Inquisitor, you know her. I can't remember her name, totally forgotten it. But her story, along with your new master, again I've forgotten her name as well. That was the most compelling part of the story. It was all to do with the fall of the Empire, fall of the Republic and everything. Part of the Jedi Purge. She's trying to save her, and then it doesn't happen, and because of that she turns to the dark side, and this whole thing unravels through the game. And you know, because you're trying to think, well, who do I believe? Do I believe what she's saying, or do I believe what she's saying? And there's just conflicting parts of the story saying, well, this is the way that they perceive it, and then to find out how it actually happened was really compelling and really good. And it's part of that going in and trying to get this Inquisitor girl to turn back, to realise that you're not lost. Saul Guerrero, you get a little glimpse of him as well. He's on Kashyyyk at some point. You're helping him out, liberate the Wookiees and whatnot when you're in Kashyyyk. That was a really good level as well. I really liked taking on that massive kind of winged beast thing. I think that was on Dathomir maybe, but then you've got this other one in Kashyyyk that's kind of helping you out. That was all great. I really liked the kind of boss battles that we get a couple of times as well. We get that other Inquisitor, that big hench one. Taking that on was a lot of fun. Taking on the bearded dude on Dathomir again, I can't remember his bloody name, but he had two like red lightsabers. Taking on him along with one of the Knights, is it the Night Sisters? The ones from Dathomir, I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. And then she kind of joins your team as well, and I like that. Is there's like a potential romance with her and Cal. That's quite interesting. As I said earlier, one of the best parts of this game is when you're discovering new moves, and the way they put this in the game was great. Every time it happens, you go into this kind of meditated state, and you go back in time, kind of like when you're a kid being trained by your master, who looks kind of like Zeb from Rebels. I like the fact that they kind of tie that in. This kind of a creature, it's not just a one-off on Rebels. So he's your master, and every time you're learning, it's him teaching you it in a training room on, you know, in the Republic somewhere. And I love that, because it adds into the story a little bit. It gives more flavour to Cal. I really enjoyed that whole thing, especially when you kind of take on your master in a memory type thing. I think it's on Dathomir as well, before you head on and take on the other dude with the beard. But yeah, that whole like arc thing is really good for Cal. I really enjoyed that. I mean, and then you're finding out as well how his master dies, and the fact that your lightsaber you get is his lightsaber broken. Brilliant. I thought that was, all of that was really good, and just seeing how he was taken down during Order 66 and how he died to save you. Brilliant, really good story. I like the fact that we travel to Ilum as well, which is where you get your kyber crystals, your lightsaber crystals, and you forge yourself a new lightsaber, a lot from the broken parts of your old master and the broken part from your new master, and you can pick your colour and change it. The whole sequence, that whole thing was really, really great. And the fact once you've done it, it's like a split blade, because you can get the double blade thing, which you get in Dathomir reasonably early on if you pop over there. All really good, and you can flip between single and double, but then to get this extra thing where you can just take it apart and just chop them down, loved it. It's inventive, it's different, and I really like this slow customization of the lightsaber. It's the most important part at the end of the day when you come to playing the game. Your lightsaber is your weapon, and it's one of the main reasons we play these games, because we want to have a lightsaber and have fun with it. And they made it absolutely fun. Single blade, double blade, split blade, loads of customization, loads of colours. It was great. It was a great idea. BD1 is, as I said, really important to your story. It is like a tag team thing the whole way through. And then finding out that his old kind of Jedi Master like programmed him and everything, and you're finding stuff out as you go along with this, and finding out about the Jedi temples and how to start a new Jedi Order, all this kind of stuff. And just I liked that, because it kept BD really important. It wasn't just this little sidekick on your shoulder that opens things up for you every now and then. He actually had a point to the story, and it works. And one of the great things, even though I said that the storyline with the other two were a lot, you know, more compelling, I do like the fact that what he did with BD and Cal, they've formed this little tag team kind of partnership, this friendship, and I full on believe it. They're buddies, they're friends, and they're going to do whatever they can in the universe. And you know, although he's quite a generic character, Cal, I'm still looking forward to seeing more of these two, because it's a fun thing to see. The ending, when you're going onto, I can't remember what planet it is, but you go there and it's like a massive, like, kind of imperial, like, post basically, and you're going down like to take everything apart and whatnot, and take on obviously the Ninth Sister, the Inquisitor, whatever she is, and it's a good battle. It's fun. I really enjoyed it. And then out of nowhere, Darth Vader appears, kills her, just showing how brutal he is as well. And then you think he's killed your master as well, thrown over the side. You're like, shit in hell. And then you start to fight him, but then very quickly it's realizing you have no hope. And like they build Vader like this, you have no hope against him. It's not a case you just take him on because it's a video game. It's like, no, you can't do this. So you have to run. And again, the challenge of running, and you have to be quick about it because everything's being crushed around you because Vader's crushing everything. You've got to run and jump and get away from him as quickly as possible. And then you almost happens and your master comes back and helps you, and then finally you just smash the glass and get out through the water and off you go. And like I said, that kind of ends abruptly, but as I said, it's obviously there's going to be more games coming out by the looks of it, but I'm looking forward to coming across Vader again and seeing what happens and whether or not we can actually take him on next time. But a good introduction to Vader in this game franchise, and it just shows how strong and powerful we know that he is. And in the final moments, it is all of the guys on the ship with the holocron that's got all the locations of potential Force users to build this new Jedi Order, and at the last moment Cal goes, I don't want to do this, and he just destroys it with a lightsaber, and he's basically saying we shouldn't be forcing these children into becoming Jedis and all this kind of stuff, and we shouldn't have this ever go into the wrong hands. Basically just saying they should be free to forge their own destiny and figure it out on their own, which is great. I really like that, because you don't have to force them into it, and also know if you've got it, then someone bad is bound to find this and go hunting for these potential new Jedi. Luke being a part of it as well. Obviously he'd probably be in that holocron thing, I imagine. So yeah, it was a nice way to kind of end that. As I say, after that, it ends straight after that really, and it shows that there is going to be more. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, and I generally don't know what they are going to do, but whatever it is, I am looking forward to seeing what they do next. Overall, guys, Jedi Fallen Order was one of those games that I was really worried going into because it's being part of an EA product, but it ended up being a really fun, solid and hopeful entry of a Star Wars game, and looking forward to going forward in the future. It was great graphics, it was fun game mechanics, it was challenging, it was a fun story, fun characters. I loved playing with the lightsaber again, because I can't remember the last time we were doing that in a video game. There's been Battlefronts and all this kind of stuff. It's been a while. I think Force Unleashed could have been the last one that we were full on playing with lightsabers, and it was all great. The moveset was all fun. Like I said, stories were great, characters were awesome. Yes, there were some negatives. Yes, it ends a bit abruptly. Yes, there's a couple of unfinished bits here and there. But overall, I enjoyed my time playing this game. It is worth the money. Definitely pick it up. And I am looking forward to seeing what they do next. Like I say, it isn't perfect, but it was solid. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being part of the Star Wars universe again and playing with these new characters. And I would say that I would give it a low 4 stars. So that's what I thought of Jedi Fallen Order. What did you think about the game? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell. If you want to find me on social media, any of these, all links are in the description, and I'll see you soon.